Amy, I wanted to know that after missing out on the 2017 World Cup, you were finally a part of the England squad during the 2022 World Cup campaign. How fulfilling was that achievement?
Yeah, it was. It was great. Obviously, it was a huge disappointment in 2017, and from that sort of learned a few lessons. Got the opportunity to go and play over in Australia, and sort of have that responsibility as an overseas player, and just a different environment. So um, some good things came from it, but yeah, it was a big disappointment. So then, getting selected for the next one was great, and it was brilliant to be a part of. That World Cup in New Zealand. Obviously, it was a bit of a roller coaster tournament for us, with a very shaky start, but to make the final and to be a part of such a good final that it was, it was really good. Obviously, we would have loved to have been on the winning side, of course, but at one point it looked like we were going home early. So to make the final became an achievement.
I just wanted to know that how heartbreaking was the loss in the final against Australia? What was the exact message delivered by the whole leadership group after the summit clash?
I think it was a real mixed emotions, as I said, like looking like we weren't going to make the final, then to making the final, then having such a good start in the power play. Anya and Catherine bowled unbelievably. For them to then go on and get over 300, well over 300, was real roller coaster within that game. And then obviously Nat's innings was unbelievable, and there was still hope there. It was obviously it's always heartbreaking to lose a final. It makes it a bit easier, to be honest, when somebody like Healy comes out and does that, because it's her day, and it was unbelievable, and it as sad as it was to lose, it was good to be a part of that sort of showcase of women's cricket. I think it was great to be a part of that. And then I think sort of the messaging from leadership was, we've not obviously won a trophy since 2017. I wasn't a part of that, but it's been a while, and I guess we're just looking to make a big shift as a team into how we can become number one in the world. That's our aim, and I think we're definitely making strides in the right direction with that. So I think especially in T20 cricket, I think we're looking to play a really exciting game, and just really take the game on more so than we have previously.
Amy, from being in and out of the squad to now becoming a permanent fixture, becoming one of the first players on the team sheet, you have actually come a long way in the last few years. So how do you actually reflect on your growth in stature as a player?
I think, it has like, I think firstly, often as a player, you don't really reflect a lot. It's always like, what's next, like here and now, what game is next. But I think it is an important thing to do, and just to sort of acknowledge sort of the road you're on, I guess, and where you've been. And like you say, I've spent a lot of my career in and out of the team, whether that like on and off tours. So I definitely feel in a really good place now. It's obviously, once I got the gloves, once Sarah retired, that was a big shift for me, I guess, knowing that I was first choice keeper. Obviously comes with some security around that. And I think it just freed me up really. It took a bit of pressure off, like, will I be selected, won't I be selected? It's obviously always there, and it's going to be there even more now with the talent that we've got coming through. So it's definitely not a given, but I think, with having the gloves, it gave me a bit more confidence within myself, that I had a more solid role within the team. And then I guess moving to the middle order back in the last T20 World Cup, although it was disappointing at the time, it suited me, I think, and it freed me up So I think now, like looking ahead, especially in T20 at the moment, batting five, keeping, I think it's a position where I feel like I can impact the game whilst also it being quite well suited for me, and I think I fit that role quite nicely now, which gives me confidence.
Amy, how difficult has it been for you to fill the big boots of Sarah Taylor, since people have often compared you to her?
Yeah, I think it's a funny thing, really, like being quite constantly compared to somebody else. I think it's something that I'm very used to now, and doesn't happen as much now, obviously. But I think I've always looked at like the position of me being backup keeper to Sarah as a very positive one, because she's the best keeper. Like, she's been the best keeper in the world when she was playing. So to have that kind of player as someone to look up to and someone to try and be better than, I think has left me in really good stead, because I've always been pushed. I've always been trying to push Sarah, and I think in turn that's made me a better keeper. And I think also, like obviously, just to sort of be compared to her in any sort of way is quite a compliment too. So yeah, I have always looked at that as a very positive thing.
Amy, there has been a significant rise in your batting strike rate. You were the highest run getter during the Charlotte Edwards Cup 2022. What are the exact facets of your batting that you have specifically worked upon?
It's funny because the actual things I've been working on are quite technical. Like, it's been about getting my front pad out of the way, driving nice and straight. So more basic things and not power hitting. I think it's just making sure that when my basics are in a good place, I can access the ball, I'm not playing around my pad, things like that, then it sort of allows me to expand on that, like during the game. I think the biggest thing to come out of the Charlotte Edwards Cup was I just found it a lot. I found I was accessing the leg side a lot better, sweeping, which sort of did just happen naturally, but it's something that I would look to take forward as sort of a boundary, which I haven't really used much before. But yeah, I've only really been working on basics and making sure everything's balanced in line, and then hoping that the rest sort of comes from that, I guess.
What is your thought process behind the inclusion of women's cricket in the Commonwealth Games?
I think it's really cool. I feel really lucky that we are here. It's a funny one because it's not anything that's been on our radar. We didn't know it was, a possibility. And sort of growing up, we've watched a lot of the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, for it to now be something that a young female cricketer can, aspire to be a part of, I think is fantastic. And the reach that we'll get, hopefully will play in front of some people that have never watched a cricket game, let alone a women's cricket game. So I think, having that opportunity to inspire people that have never watched it is really exciting for all of us. And yeah, hopefully we can put on a good show.
Amy, which team do you think in particular will challenge England the most during the Commonwealth Games?
I think it's always Australia, obviously, but I think, these days you can't underestimate any team. Everyone's sort of just getting better and better every year, and there's dangerous players in and amongst every team. But yeah, obviously Australia number one in the world, and they'll always be someone we're desperate to beat. So yeah, but I think the standard across the whole tournament will be very high.